Shot of milk.
Shot of milk. Shot of milk. What's good?
MP keep dancing. He only hang out with the kicks and snares. He only hang out with the kicks and snares.
I'm cool. How's it going with you?
I'm good, man. Is it okay if I record this? Oh, yeah. Woo, Serato!
Yeah.
So, Akio, I started this show called Kicks And Snares.
Yes.
What Kicks And Snares is, it's my way of documenting our stories. What we, the behind the scenes, the stuff that we can always tell this to our kids and stuff, but our kids, children, they'll never know these stories, you know what I mean? And the rest of the world doesn't know half the stuff. They just know the people, just the one artist or the two artists that perform the song. And my thing is like, what's up?
Kind of like the time that the police singled me out and tried to arrest me on the last show, like Kendrick Lamar show. Remember that?
I need you to come and tell this closer to the camera.
That time. Yeah.
Insane, bro. Cool. So like, my thing is like, these stories like will always be like, we'll know them at some point. We'll forget them. I just want to tell these stories and then get people to connect more, because like the power of music is that it connects us. If it wasn't for us working on the recent album, you and I wouldn't be hanging. I wouldn't be coming to your house for pizza night or you know what I mean?
This is true.
I'm grateful. I mean that there's like a portion of our lives that we share with each other because of the music that we've created. You know what I mean?
True.
Very true. So on this episode that you are now, this is for Do It Like I Can. Like it's just us telling the stories, because like at the time of Do It Like I Can, you were the manager and you were also the wiki, the tour DJ.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So, okay. The one memorable story I can tell is 5FM. That was like our first gig together as Audio 3D.
Yes.
Cool. Tell us more.
Okay, so the Live to the Power 5, that was when we were doing it in the storefront in Greenside, right?
Yeah.
DJ Invisible went on before us. Man, I'm trying to remember all the details of that, but I remember I was hella nervous. 5FM actually showed us a lot of love in those days, man. Like, remember, like all the shit that Reason was putting out, Metro showed no love. It was always 5FM. And then to a certain extent, YFM also used to show us love. But I remember practicing, because what we were doing at that time was like very different. First of all, in those days, nobody was even doing a band except Toomey and the Volume. Like that was it. Back then, hip hop, like rappers were still rapping over the actual song itself. You know, they weren't even using backtracks. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when we came through and we had an actual show, like that was, it was really groundbreaking. Nobody was doing that. DJ and someone with an MPC, like it was definitely some different stuff during that time. And I think we got a lot of interest, like just in Seasway's work, because of the way that we had it set up back in those days. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, I remember all the times we did it early, back when we were doing it like for no money, like Pata. Remember we did one of the first shows there, and you did the was that Do It Like I Can into Psycho, or A Lot on My Mind into
a lot of
Psycho beat. But there was a lot of stuff, man. It was a lot of fun. I remember that time, and I learned a lot more about music and just going from like being a DJ to a live performance DJ. I mean, I'd been doing stuff with Ill Skills, but like what we did with Audio 3D was like next level at the time, you know? Like, if you think about it now, even after all these years, like who else is doing that? Solo, you know, and L the Third, they're the only ones who've like managed to like kind of pull that off, you know? But we were obviously doing it on a much bigger scale, huge shows, you know?
Yeah. Bro, like, I mean, as you speak, like, you remind me of so many cool things. Like, first of all, that 5FM show, I remember we rehearsed for like 2 weeks or something like that. We rehearsed every single T of that show just for us to perform. Yeah. And I remember
driving out to Edenvale, man.
Bro, the Vale, bro. And when we got when we performed the show at Live to the Power 5, because I was hella nervous. We're like wearing blazers, we're like all up in the spot. Yeah. And when we did Do It Like I Can, I looked around because I was like, I never thought that song would be the one to hook people in. And
Okay, can I tell a quick story about just the origins of that song from what I remember?
Yeah.
So once Sizwe signed with Motif, this was back when I was still living in Maboneng at Main Street Life. And we had a meeting. It was me, Toomey, Bradley, Sizwe, and I think Nisa was there because she was kind of doing some work with Motif at the time.
Yeah.
So we were all sitting there and we're talking about everything, going through the whole rollout plan and all of that, talking about it. And basically, Do It Like I Can was one of the last songs to be recorded, if not the last song. Am I wrong?
It was. So they were looking for, it was definitely the last song. Because they were looking for like a bio song. There was that one song. They were like, "Yo, do you have something?" I was like, let's see. Please.
Yeah. So we were going through it. We had talked about it. I can't remember what song we had kind of agreed on would be the single, but whatever it was, there wasn't a consensus. Some people were like, "Yo, this one." Some people were like, "That one." And we're like, all right, cool. And then at that point, I think Bradley or Toomey, I can't remember, was like, yo, but there's also this other song that we could maybe do. And then they played the beat for us. And when they played the beat, all of us then were just like, yo, this is going to be the one. This can be the one. And Caesar was like, all right. Let me, I can lay some lyrics for this. And we were like, okay, cool. Let's hold off. Let's wait for this song to get produced. And then once we do that, then we'll know, but this sounds like it could be the lead single. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I remember specifically that conversation, that meeting. That was at the very beginning of everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was still, Cool Out was in its early stages. Sizwe was still a backpack rapper. You know what I'm saying? Everything was on a very small step. Zaki was who Motif was really putting their focus behind. Sizwe was just he was the other signee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we had that conversation and we all heard the beat and we're like, yo, this has that single potential. This has that breakthrough potential. And then we all went to studio and recorded it, and then that's where we took it from there.
I mean, like, it's good that, I never heard this story before, but you know, the one thing I really liked about working on that Audio 3D album was that the brief was very, very thoroughly thought out. When T phoned me to come into studio to play some beats, he was like, yo, we're trying to build a thing called Audio 3D. So when we're going through some of the stuff in my library, so he was like, that's Audio 3D, that's Audio 3D. And like literally when I left that meeting, we had 5 songs, 5 beats locked off for them. And Audio 3D was one of the, A3D was one of the first songs that we recorded. And then so throughout the process, because I was like, yo, I really like this dude. And I wanna be, because I like the way they were thinking. I was like, this is a really cool way to put an album together. So in the conversations, I'd hear other songs that other producers were making, and then I remember T was now Stogie. Stogie was like, yo, listen, man, we're looking for 2 more songs. I think there were 2-3 songs that they were looking. They're like, we're looking for a bio song, a song that that tells the people who this person is. And then another one where you share what your struggles are, and that left me thinking. And I went home and I wrote a lot on my mind, and then I was like, maybe Do It Like I Can could work. And then as soon as I had that thought, I phoned Reason. Yo, I got this beat. I played it for him. He's like, yo, send it right now. I sent him both tracks, and then when we got to Do It Like I Can, I had a different drum pattern altogether. I had it was super. And his feedback was like, yo, dog, dope beat, nice hook, because I had already the hook on there. That's so unfortunate. He was like, yo, man, dope track, but it sounds good, but without the Willow Smith drums. I was like, yo.
Okay.
Because it was too modern. So I had to backpack rap it. I had to put vintage drums on it to make it work, and just change the color of everything. But
no doubt.
That, and then I don't know, I think you had a huge hand in it. Skyroom Live was a major thing in our lives, man.
No doubt.
Skyroom
Live put us onto a lot of stuff. And you know the reason why Skyroom Live, we did so much stuff with Skyroom Live is because 2 things, man. One, they loved the performance of A3D. They liked the way that we did it. You know what I'm saying? Again, going back to the structure of nobody else was doing anything like that. So it was visually impressive. And 2, they really respected our professionalism. So between those 2 things, they were like, yo, we're going to get behind this squad because we know that presentation-wise, the music is going to be dope. And 2, we know that we can trust them from a professional point of view, that they're going to do the right things. They're going to show up on time. They're going to give 100%. They're not going to give us no stress. Like, that was like one of the main things from like a business standpoint. From the beginning, like under my watch, I was like, yo, everything is going to be professional, you know? And I think that's a lot of rappers these days, actually a lot of rappers in general, or musicians, don't understand the importance of professionalism. Like, you have to be shit hot to not be professional and still get bookings. You know what I'm saying? Like, rather be professional. Like, that'll guide you through a lot of stuff, because a lot of promoters, festival organizers, people like that, you might be slightly below somebody else, but that other person is like difficult to work with, has an ego, all of those things, and you'll get bumped up so many times just because everybody knows you're professional, you know?
Yeah. Okay, cool. There are 2 gigs that I want to talk about with regards.
Can I tell another story about Do It Like Again? Actually, are we going to talk about the music video as well?
Sure.
Are we going to get into that?
Yeah.
No, we can get into it later. I don't know what the format is.
No, go ahead. I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna edit. Yeah.
Okay, so just this, literally 3 days ago. It's funny that you call me up for this now. So 3 days ago, I'm at this new shopping mall in Auckland Park, Mill Park. It's called like I call it Ramstein Mall or whatever like that. So I'm there and I'm at Kicks. And I'm dressed, like I've got my mask on.
Yeah.
And I've still got my coat on. So I'm going to show you the whole outfit. So this is what I'm in the Kicks. I'm buying some soap and stuff. And I'm at the checkout till. I'm at the checkout till, and I look like this.
Yeah.
Hood on. This is what I look like.
Yeah.
Like this. And the guy says to me, yo, are you a DJ?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, but this happens all the time. Even with the mask, people can tell because of my eyes. But I had the hood on, everything. So I wasn't that surprised. But what came next is what surprised me. I'm like, yeah, I'm a DJ, whatever. And he's like, yeah. He's like, you know where I recognize you from? I said, where? And I was expecting a million different things. And he's like, Reason, Do It Like I Can video. And I'm like, what? Like literally 7 years ago, from a cameo appearance from 7 years ago with a hood and a mask on.
Yeah.
And that's what you recognize me from. And he was like, yeah. And then I was like, yo, that is crazy. Like, I haven't even thought about that song in so long. You know what I'm saying? And then this dude brought up that video. And even that video, that was one of my least favorite videos of all time.
Yeah.
I thought it was so corny. It was such a corny video. And I thought that, like, it made the song kind of corny. Like, I don't know. I mean, look, the song went from being a hip-hop song into a pop song.
Pop song, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At some point, it wasn't even hip-hop anymore. It could have been motherfucking
Willow Smith.
It could have been like Nicki Minaj's Starship. Starships are meant to fly. It's hip-hop, but it ain't. You know what I'm saying? That's how crossover it was.
Yeah.
And I felt like that video took away from it, made it more pop, and even like made it slightly, eventually when you heard it so much, it made it slightly like, overplayed and corny, because the video was so like, it was corny. I didn't like it. But we shot, that was the second video that we did.
We shot.
Remember the first video?
Oh yeah. The first one was.
The first video was clean.
Yeah.
But I admit it was a bit boring. Yeah. But it was clean.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like it would have. I felt like looking back on it, I feel like the first video would have been better in the long term.
Yeah, exactly.
For that song, because this one was just like, it was for kids, man. I don't know, but but I remember shooting that video, and I had done cameos in other videos before, but that one was with the green screen, and there were so many cameos, and like I remember, that was also one of the things that I learned. Why I hate doing music videos, cameos, is because your call time will be like 10 a.m. and then you're there like 6 p.m. before you finally get on.
Yeah.
So what I learned now is when I do it, I just show up when I want to show up and be like, yo, shoot
I'm
my
here.
scene now. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. Yeah. So I remember that video, man, corny video. But I mean, I guess it was kind of cool, but it was corny too. Like I remember that we were up in the clouds. What were you doing in the video?
I was playing the MPC. I had the MPC and the keyboard. I was like,
with the 37 sunglasses.
Yeah, the 37 shades.
Sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. The 37 shades, man. That was standard for all our performances. Yeah. I didn't understand wardrobe back then. I was still new to that. Like now when I perform as Akio, I've got all my things. I got the beads, I got like everything, like, I'm like full on artist mode. I didn't get it then. 37 shades, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So then there's two particular gigs that like stand out in my head. And they were like back to back. You guys got us, I think you did something with Baines, and they were like, yo, you guys are gonna be part of Skyroom Live with like a global streaming situation. There was like a festival going on, and we're Hermosa. We met you in Hermosa. You had already in the States. And then tell us more, bro. Like, 'cause it got so insane.
So that trip. So the whole thing with Skyroom Live again was like, yo, they fucked with us hard because we were professional and we were killing it at the time. Like we were delivering hits, and we had established a good relationship. And that was like also one of the things that I like from my side, from the management side, was like, yo, let me really focus on these individual personal relationships because those are the things that are going to sustain you. Those are the things that are going to put you on. So with that, they got us onto that, and also Baines and Skyroom Live for the Reeperbahn Festival in Germany, which you missed. But that was all connected together. That was all part of the same thing. And that was also, that Reeperbahn booking was also what kind of set things in motion for me and how I've been doing my European tours now for 5 years. You know what I'm saying? My tours have gone from 3 cities to like all over. But all of that was set in motion from Skyroom Live and Baines. But with that, I remember they had put us forward for some global stream. This is back when streaming was still kind of a new thing. Streaming concerts was still kind of a new thing. And they booked us for like, it looked like, first of all, the production that they had there. Remember how many cameras they had inside that space, and the way that they were controlling everything. And like, it was really quite amazing to see. And we got there and we were staying at a spot. What was the name of that spot? It wasn't that far from the beach, Hermosa Beach. And there was a donut spot, and you almost got Trayvon by the cops. Just for trying to get donuts, some average donuts. Oh, and we also put you on. I put you on the McGriddle.
And the biscuit.
From McDonald's. You didn't know about the McGriddle. Yeah. And then also, I remember that, man. You were on the American food and you weren't working out. You came back, like in a week, you would gain like 5 kilos. I remember that. So that gig, that was also, what's crazy about that, that was the first time that my mom saw me perform as a musician, because so she's seen me perform twice. The first was there in LA, and the second time was opening up for Jack Sparrow in the Netherlands. With me and Caesar opened up for Jack Sparrow. Her and a couple friends came through to watch that show.
That's crazy.
Crazy, So that was quite big for me in that moment, just for like my mom to see what it is that I do. And like from a crowd point of view, it wasn't that packed, but I understand because it's like Caesar was an unknown entity, and I don't know how big they were pushing the marketing and stuff like that. But those are one of the situations. It was like a character building thing as well, and it's like great performers perform great, whether it's 1,000 people or 5 people, and I felt like that show, we put on a really good performance. I mean, granted, we knew that it was being recorded and streaming, and it was going to play on SABC, so I think we put in, we performed as if it was packed, but that was a dope show. I remember we went out afterwards, and what was our homegirl's name? That passed. That was our chaperone.
Sarah.
Remember we took her to Sarah Chu, cool chick.
Sarah Chu,
and remember we took her to we went to like the beach afterwards to get some food, and like all the white boys were losing their minds.
Fred House, bro.
Remember
that party, bro? Oh my God. Yeah. Yo, that's when I like America's crazy. I went to the bar. I was like, yo, can I have a double, bro? Like the whole class. I was like, I double. Double's usually down here.
We don't measure them. We don't measure them with those little shots. Like we hand pour, Yo. Yeah, that was a great trip, man. That was a great trip to like see to like see LA from y'all side and to perform out there and to like get out there and see what's going on and to be able to see all of these things that like a lot of artists in South Africa, a lot of people in South Africa never get to see. You know, a lot of people never get to see Santa Monica Beach, walk down the promenade. You know, remember that? We were walking down the promenade and like all the rappers like coming up to you. Like,
oh my God! Oh, I put like a rap.
So
Some dude, you got me, bro. You got me. You're not present for that one moment, and like I think you guys were going to the chemist, the pharmacy.
Yeah.
A green pharmacy.
Yeah.
And the rapper got me, bro. You got me. I bought
you just gotta walk by. You just gotta walk by.
$5, bro. You don't look him in the eye. You don't ever look him in the eye because it's over.
You gotta keep going. Be like, nah, I'm cool.
Yeah.
And that was one of the dudes. Remember who was like, yo, man, on this album number 10, I made it. You know, everybody makes songs for the moms, but I made one for the grandmas. Like nobody ever does songs for the grandmas. Remember, he had a song for the grandmas. I don't know if that was the dude that you bought.
That's a nice pitch, yeah.
It was a great pitch, man, because he's right. How many songs for the grandmas are there?
Yeah, true. And then, yeah, that trip was insane. Let's forget the trip, the flight back.
Yeah.
See, after
I
you
gotta
had
tell that story.
You can tell it if you want.
So I gotta tell the story.
Go ahead,
Flight
bro.
trip. So that was, so while we were there, you know, as artists, we did used to smoke a lot of weed, and the event organizer had been hooking us up with weed, but after the show was done, he wasn't interested.
Yeah, he was
that wasn't his responsibility anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Like, even then I remember Caesar was like, hey man, holler at the promoter to get us more weed. And I knew, because I'm like, I know how to read the room, you know, he doesn't. I'm just like, yo, man, he's not going to get us any more weed, man. His job is done. Like, he's not here to babysit us for the rest of our trip in LA.
Yeah.
So I hit him up and he's like, and I could tell, he was just like, yeah, all right, let me see what I can do. And then he never got back to us, man. He's got other things. He's on to the next one. So I went and got the prescription because we were walking down Santa Monica. I was just like, yo, man, let me, Venice Beach, let me do the thing. So I went through the whole process, got it. It took forever. It was more expensive than I thought. So while I'm there, I buy the weed. And then I'm also, as I'm walking out, I'm like, yo, let me get some edibles too. You know, it'll be nice for the flight back home. Because the thing is like, LA to New York is like 6 hours. And then, no, to DC. LA to DC, 6 hours. And then DC to South Africa is another 16 hours. It's a long trip. Yeah. So I was thinking maybe having an edible to just like vibe out would be nice. So we have it, we buy it, we're sitting on it. We get to LA, to LAX the morning of the flight. And even that morning, it was like, yo, we're up at like 4 a.m. We're on like the 6 a.m. flight or something like that.
Yeah.
So we're up at like 4, we get to LAX. And the thing to keep in mind is that our schedule is tight. So we go from LA to DC. DC, we connect on a flight to from DC to Johannesburg. Johannesburg, basically, we get picked up, drop our shit off, shower, and drive straight to Opikopi for Sizwe's first festival performance. Now, I had played at Opikopi a couple of years before as a solo artist, but that was our first performance together on the Red Bull stage. Yeah. So there was no margin of error. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we get on there, get to LAX. We're just about to go through security. I'm like, yo, C's, let's you want to eat this? So I eat half, he eats half, and then we get on there and we're cool. And me, I'm Rasta, you know, so I've been through this a million times. And back in those days, I used to smoke a lot, so I wasn't stressed at all. So as we're there waiting, that's when it kind of starts to kick in. I'm like, all right, kind of feeling this a little bit, and now it's kicking in a little bit harder, and we're at the gate, and I'm like, damn, okay, man, I just want to get on this flight. Like it's starting to kick in, man. I want to get situated and comfortable. Yeah. So now as that's happening, Sarah too runs out, panicking. They changed the gate. We're at the wrong gate. We're gonna miss our flight. Remember, so then at this point we pick up our stuff, and now we're sprinting across. And now it's like kicking in solid. And for those people that have never done an edible, it's completely different than smoking weed. It's like a body high. It's like a mind high. It's not like smoking weed. It's like tripping mushrooms. So we're running through the airport, and I'm carrying all my shit. And then at one point, I think I had to hand like one of my bags to you or Caesar and just be like, yo, man, I'm not feeling great. Like, hold on to this. Let me just survive. So we get to the other spot. It's already boarding. And at that point, now it's kicking in, and I'm just like, I'm feeling super faint. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like just get on the plane, just make it on the plane. I'm even in line, I'm just like, just get on the plane, don't pass out. And I was paranoid about passing out because when I was a student in Amsterdam, I worked at a coffee shop. Yeah. And I'd seen people pass out from smoking weed, like as I was working, like people just hitting and just like, ah, and I didn't want to be that guy. So I'm just like, get on the plane, just get on the plane, just get on the plane. So now we get on the plane, and because we didn't check in online or whatever the case may be, we aren't sitting together. We're all separate. Yeah. So all of us have middle seats scattered about the plane. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting in between two strangers. You know what I'm saying? It's these two white guys I'm sitting next to. You know, this is like, we just come out of LA, summertime. I'm Asian, plus like I was a little bit darker then. And you know white people in America, they don't know, man. If you look foreign, you could be Arab, you could be Mexican, they don't know. So I'm just sitting there. So the whole time I'm like, just get on the plane, just get on the plane, just get on the plane. And then I get on the plane and I'm like, oh, fuck. Now I'm feeling claustrophobic. And the plane is like so narrow. And I'm starting to lose my mind a bit, and I'm just like, yo, I want to get the fuck out. And I'm just like, oh man, how long is this flight? So now I'm just in there trying to breathe, and like, you know, I was thinking, like, I can't be on this flight, but at the same time, maintain composure, because you can't act a fool, because then one, they might turn the flight around, and then we're gonna miss our connecting flight, and if we miss our connecting flight, we're gonna miss the show in Mpho Pholo. Yeah. Two, they might put your ass on the no-fly list. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it ain't a spot for someone who could possibly pass as Arab, like to be, you know, in any type of flight situation problems. So now I'm just breathing hard, trying to compose myself. And the people next to me are now hella nervous. They're just like looking at me, and I'm just like, and I look at them, I'm just like, first time flying. You know, I'm just trying to like play it off. Yeah. So I have an excuse to be so suspicious. So now I'm there and I'm just like, okay, let me close my eyes. Let me just close my eyes, try and go to bed, sleep, pass out. So now I close my eyes, and now it's 10 times worse when I close my eyes, because it's just like everything's moving, this and that. Eventually we get up in the air. I try and ride it out. It takes me about an hour, but after an hour it kind of mellows out. And then at that point I'm cool and I go to sleep. And then I wake up and then I get off the plane. I'm just like, worst experience of my life. You know, I didn't do edibles for probably like 3-4 years after that. But the other lesson for that is, edibles on a plane, terrible idea. If you're gonna do it, it's just like mushrooms. Take them in a space where you're wide open, where you can like get away, you can have time to yourself, because there's gonna be times like, you know, you're going in and out of like feeling crazy. And a funny thing is, I was beginning of the year, or November, there's a basketball player named Dion Waiters, played for the Miami Heat. And TMZ dropped a story. He got suspended by his team, by the Miami Heat, and nobody knew what it was. And TMZ, of course, broke the story that on a flight back from LA to Miami with the team, he had taken an edible and lost his mind on the team flights, and just like went crazy on the flight, and was like, had to be restrained and shit. And when he got back to Miami, they suspended him for like indefinitely. And when I read that, I was like, Dion, I get you, bro. I get you. I've been there. I felt his pain, man. I felt his pain.
And that is why you gotta just take shots of milk. Shots of milk. Keep it milk. Shots of milk. And if you're vegan, do the almond milk or the soy milk. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
That was wild. But throughout all of that, we still made it. We made it to the flights, got on, landed back in Joburg, and immediately had to go to Mpho Pholo.
Yo, that was the second show I actually wanted to talk about. That back to back, man. I think that show was so powered by the fact that we're jet lagged, because we worked hard on that show. We rehearsed, you know. We rehearsed that show in LA, and even in LA we smashed that set, you know. And we just wanted a crowd. We just wanted a crowd. So I think the energy, man, like once we got there and the rush of like, yo, we got here, I got home, dropped off my bags, you know, I kissed my daughter, I was like, yo, girl, yeah. And then the following mornings, like, yo, you're outside, you're like, yo, let's roll, dog. And boom, now we in like Mpho Pholo, and I was like, yo, we're gonna do the set. And we were freezing, bro. We came from summer, now we're in winter.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
But for me, that was one of the most memorable sets we've done. Like that, it was so flawless. We're like,
Yeah, because at that point we had been like practicing and rehearsing so much that it was just like it went into it. One of the things I remember about that was like props to Red Bull for like that setup and that stage and the lights and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then also the way that it's built at the bottom of that hill, so it really feels like the crowd is on top of you. Yeah. And the other thing is, because it's Opi Kopi, and this is Opi Kopi back in the day, it was hella white. And the one thing about a white crowd is white crowds will go 10 times more crazy than a black crowd. You know, black crowds, they'll go wild, but they still cool.
Yeah.
White people they're not concerned about being cool. They'll do whatever. You know, white people, like in the crowd, if you're like, yo, put your hands in the air, they'll put their hands in the air. And then you're like, all right, spin around and do a pirouette. They'll spin around and do a pirouette. You know, they'll be like, take your shirt off and spin it around. White people be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's so much more like engagement. So they were losing their minds and they didn't know our shit. But the sound system was banging, and the lights and the performances and all the interludes and stuff that we had done. And I think that was one of the best things about our show was the musical direction, you know? You were doing that, but at the same time, me and Sizwe were also contributing in terms of ideas. And like we never performed the songs as they were. You know, we were always flipping them, you know what I'm saying? Whether it was like, remember how we were doing the Do It Like I Can, flipped into the motto, then back into Do It Like I Can. We flipped it like
Mambochi.
From the motto into the TKZ. And even with No Sleep, how we flipped it into Got the Club Going Up on a Tuesday, you know? And that was like from my side as a DJ, like knowing the shit that popped. But it was also ways of, remember at one point, think about how sick we were of performing Do It Like I Can.
Yeah.
We were so tired of that. You know, it was just like, we had performed it so much, we had heard it so much, and then we also knew that people in the crowd had heard it a lot too. So us doing those interludes of throwing in the motto and the TKZ joint, that allowed us to refresh these songs.
Correct.
And like people like jam into it. And also Do It Like I Can is like what, 3 verses? It's a long song.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
3 verses? Yeah. So having that point where we flip it allows you to bring the energy up. And that's one of the things, like as a DJ, I know, when is the crowd the most hype? At the beginning of the song, when you transition from the verse, from the previous song, hook to intro, verse, hook. That's it. That's why we don't play songs all 3 verses. And what we did with that was allowed us to bring that type of element that DJs use into a rap performance, you know? And I think that's what, people don't do that anymore. And I think even with Sizwe, man, I just don't know the musical direction, like if he's spending as much time being innovative with the performance as we were. I mean, we used to spend so much time thinking about how we were going to make our performance better than everybody else's. And again, this goes back to a time when rappers were performing over the actual song. You know what I'm saying? And we're out here doing crazy shit.
Yeah, that actually, like, you reminded me of so many things, like in terms of like, I mean, the journey of myself now being a musical director, like so many influences came, you know, that bring me to where I am. I remember that time, that was such an instrumental time, like all of us, like literally, I used to ask these, I'm like, yo, so who's MDing this set? It's like all of us. It was like a standard, like, yo, we're all bringing, and there was strength in that. It's like, because Sizwe comes from he's a backpack rapper. His mind state is going to be that. Then you're coming as a DJ. And then for me, I'm like, come in with the musicology and the musical production just to make sure it's tight, you know? So like all those influences, like, you know, it was a brilliant combo in like in execution. Yeah, right? I think we all learned,
man. I thought so too.
I think we all developed and learned stuff about each other. I mean, like I'm looking at you now, man. I'm like, the stuff that you're doing now is like you amaze me. The last gig that I saw you perform, bro, was Everyday People.
Oh yeah, like, that's
yo, right. Akio, you know, I never hold back, bro. So I'm in there, I'm chilling with Thuks, and I was like, yo, Akio is coming on next. Cool. So we're watching. So, and she works with Jamison. She's like, yo, have some shots with us. I'm like, cool, yeah, let's have. So she's pouring, and your set starts. I'm like, damn. Second transition, I was like, yo, put the drink down. I was like, that's my boy! Yeah. That's my people! You know? And like, like, so when I saw you, like, around our table, after you said, yo, I was like, yo, Akio, we need to take a photo of this moment, man. Like, because it was so epic, man. Like, you know, I'm very, very amazed at what, and very happy with what you've done with your career, man. Like, you've invested in yourself. The content creation is incredible. Like you said, bro, you said, even the stuff that you're doing in LA, even a friend of mine, a friend is a Swedish guy. He saw you in Sweden. There was like a party that there was a party that you were at, and then he said I was watching you on social media. Then he sends me a photo of a party. I'm like, hold on, I think Akio is at this party. And then confirm, boom, you guys were at the very same party. I was like, yo, you're killing it, bro. Yeah. You're killing it.
Yeah, I mean, that was like a conscious decision. That came a lot from that trip, you know, that journey that me, you, and Sizwe had together. I learned a lot, you know what I'm saying? And you know, translated a lot of that stuff into my own career in terms of like what I was learning from the management side, you know, the artist side of me, you know, like when I started rolling with y'all, like I was an accomplished DJ of my own at that point, but still at a certain level, at the underground level, you know, respected at the underground level. And then for that 3 or 4 years, man, I put everything aside. I wasn't DJing on my own. I wasn't an individual artist. I was a tour DJ because we were so busy, you know, during that time. So it was only, right around 2017 when I'm like, you know what, man, like all these things that I've been doing, man, let me just rather do them for myself. Like I believe, like I did believe in me. I always believed that I needed to push other people first, you know, like, and I had to push, you know, Mingus or Ill Skills or Reiko or Reason, you know, and then all of a sudden, then I was like, you know what, man, actually, man, why am I scared of pushing myself? And then, you know, but it was all of that experience, you know, like that we had, like doing shows, huge shows that allowed me to be able to go and push myself as an artist, you know.
That's amazing, man.
And have that same work ethic and dedication, and like be like, yo, and putting a show together, putting a set together in advance, you know, preparing, you know, the preparation.
I feel like what you just said now, that's an entire sermon altogether. That's a whole way of lifestyle, you know. Sometimes, as you know, it's easier to invest in somebody else than to invest in somebody in yourself, you know. And when you actually get that realization to say, listen, if I can do something for somebody else, you become a bigger asset in life, you know.
No doubt.
Yeah, and I also just wanted to say, man, listen, in terms of the hip hop industry, like I'm sure you've received many accolades as KOL, as yourself. I just want to personally, for me, I'd like to thank you for all the work that you put in. You know,
I appreciate it.
Your website, in always empowering people, like breaking stories and breaking talent. The rooftop.
Cooling in the city.
Yeah, cooling in the city, bro. Cooling in the city is like, I miss cooling in the city so much because, like,
me too.
It is something that is like, it's so Joburg. Like, you know, sometimes I think of like, oh, I would love to be on a rooftop and like and do an MPC set, you know, and because like that feeling, and it's something that you created, and it's not like you just create. It's not only in Joburg. You've got events in Cape Town that, you know, that you're doing before this. Listen, bro. Thank you for the work that you're putting in. I know the sacrifice and the amount of work that goes into. You know, you're doing something for the culture, but you're not like, oh, I'm doing it for the culture. You are actually doing it for the culture, and people are noticing you
for sure.
What you're doing, man.
That's the thing I miss the most about cooling in the city and like not having the time to do those things. Is like we were able to put on so many artists. You know what I'm saying? Like the platform where it was like you knew that it was going to be a certain number of people. You knew that there was going to be probably a commercial artist, and you know, we had so much power in a sense that our crowd was so cool and the venue was so cool and the sound was on point that we could just put on good music. You know what I'm saying? Like we weren't pressured. It wasn't, people could come in and everybody would be like, yo, what do you want us to do? And like, yo, do whatever you do, because the crowd here is like, it's receptive, you know? Yeah. And we'd have the biggest artists on the same lineup as the smallest guys, you know? And it's like, they're used to performing at the club where it's like 2 or 3 songs out, and now we've got this huge, you know, major production. And, you know, over the course of with Coolin' in the City and Cool Out Lounge, you know, we ran that from 2008. We always had a live act. You know, we put on so many artists that were small and now are like huge. You know what I'm saying? Like so many people came through. I mean, obviously 90%, 80% never made it. But like, if you know, from a certain era, with them, excluding the kids now, even the kids now, the A. Reese's, all of them, a Nasty C, all of them performed at Coolin' in the City on the come up. You know? So like really for 10 years, it was every artist at some point performed at those shows. And I miss that, man. I miss being able to give that platform, you know?
Yeah, oh, that is so dope, man. That is so dope.
Yeah.
That is so dope. Yo, big up yourself, man. Keep it going.
Oh, word, man. Thank you.
So drop us the handle. So for the people that don't know you yet, they'll definitely know you because we're about to connecting the people. This is Akio, superstar DJ, overall amazing guy, pizza maker, the Asian papito, the maker of Taco Tuesdays,
Taco
everything
Tuesdays
amazing.
South Africa, pizza night. Yeah,
ladies love him, the kids love him. They call him Uncle Akio. So give us a shout out, bro. What are your handles?
It's my name, man. Akio _Kawahito. I know it sounds complicated because it's like a long ass Japanese name, but it's actually easy. But I'm assuming that you're just gonna put it there across the bottom. Yeah. Akio _Kawa. Yeah, right there. It's gonna go. And that's me on Twitter, Instagram, and then Facebook. Yeah, you can find me there. I'm most active on Facebook and Instagram. Trying to get back into the Twitter thing. Like you remember the heyday of Twitter? Like 2010, 2000. Those are the best days. That was the golden era. Trying to get back into it now. But IG, man, that's where I post all my content in terms of, all the videos for my shows, all the upcoming shows, all the content of the world tours, all of that, man. That's all IG. I mean, obviously there are no world tours now, but we'll get back to it.
Yo, man, listen, thank you so much for coming to Kicks and Snares, man. What a lovely chat.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. And hopefully when we see each other, we're going to have a shot of milk.
We're gonna get that. We're gonna get the goat milk, man. We're gonna get the expensive stuff. You know? Yeah.
Room temperature.
Room temperature. That's the experts know. The aficionados know that room temperature is where it's at. Get the full flavors.
Yo, thank you so much, man. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it, man. All right.
Cool.
Peace.
Cool, bro.